Let me tell you something strange about silence in the digital age. We live in a world where almost everything is shared. Birthdays, coffee cups, sunsets, even pain dressed up with filters. Yet some people stay completely invisible. They scroll quietly, observe deeply, but rarely if ever post. You might know someone like that. Maybe you are someone like that. And here's the question that lingers. Why would someone choose to stay unseen when the whole world is shouting for attention? It's easy to assume they're shy, or antisocial, or hiding something. But that's not the full picture. Beneath the surface, there's an entire psychology at play. One that speaks volumes about human nature, about self-perception, and about the quiet rebellion against a culture obsessed with visibility. See, for some people, silence is not emptiness. It's control. It's the power to choose what the world doesn't get to know. Because whether we admit it or not, social media has subtly reshaped how we define ourselves. It rewards display, it praises noise, and yet those who stay in the shadows are often the ones who see everything most clearly. They watch without needing to interrupt. They think before reacting. They analyze before judging. Psychologists have found something fascinating. People who refrain from posting frequently often score higher on traits like self-restraint, introspection, and emotional independence. They tend to be less influenced by social comparison and external validation. In other words, they aren't trying to prove who they are. They're trying to understand it. And in a world drowning in performances, that's rare because, let's be honest, most of what we post is not just communication. It's identity crafting. It's an unconscious audition for belonging. Every caption, every photo, every status update says, "This is who I am." Do you approve? But when you stop posting, something shifts. You begin to detach your worth from digital applause. You stop thinking in captions. You start experiencing moments for yourself again, instead of for a lens. Let me describe something. Maybe it happened to you. You took a photo, a good one. You opened the app, started typing a caption, and then something stopped you. You looked at the photo again and thought, why am I doing this? Who am I trying to impress? What do I actually gain from this? So you deleted the draft, closed the app, and felt relief. That was the first crack. Maybe you used to share everything, the vacations, the meals, the I'm so blessed moments, until one day it stopped feeling real. You realized that every time you shared something beautiful, you felt an invisible pressure to keep outdoing it. You weren't living anymore, you were performing, so you quit quietly. No announcement, no dramatic I'm leaving social media post, just a slow disappearance from the feed. And here's the strange part. Nobody really noticed, but you noticed everything. There's a concept in psychology called psychological ownership. It's that feeling when something belongs deeply to you. A thought, a memory, an experience. Here's the truth. Most people don't realize. When you post a moment, that sense of ownership fades. It becomes shared property, open to likes, open to comments, open to judgment, misinterpretation, even mockery. The moment you share something sacred, it stops being purely yours. It belongs to algorithms now, to opinions, to trends. So people who don't post are often guarding their sense of ownership over life itself. They keep their moments untouchable, private, pure. And maybe that's not sadness or withdrawal. Maybe it's a quiet kind of freedom. Think about it. When was the last time you did something meaningful and didn't feel the urge to share it? When was the last time you laughed, cried, or achieved something and didn't immediately think of posting it? That reflex, that need to display, it's not natural. It's conditioned. It's the product of a decade of likes, shares, and dopamine loops, training our brains to equate validation with value. But I need to be honest with you. Not everyone who stays silent is at peace. Some are driven by fear. The fear of judgment, rejection, being misunderstood. Social media has amplified a subtle form of anxiety psychologists call self-presentational pressure. It's the constant awareness that you're being watched, even when you're not. And for many, that's exhausting. They worry that what they say might be misread, or worse, ignored. So they retreat, not because they don't want to connect, but because the cost of visibility feels too high. They want to be seen, but only truly, not superficially. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you quiet because you're whole or because you're wounded? Because one is power, the other is protection, and they look exactly the same from the outside. Only you know the truth. Here's the paradox. Social media was designed to connect us, yet it often leaves people feeling more isolated than ever. When you stop posting, you stop chasing digital closeness and start rebuilding real ones. You begin noticing who checks in on you without needing updates, who remembers you without reminders. That kind of connection, raw, unbroadcasted, feels heavier, warmer, and infinitely more real. The people who don't post, they live in that space, they build relationships that don't need proof. They find comfort in the unshared moment, and they let life unfold without turning it into content. Some people say, if you didn't post it, did it even happen? But the truth is, the things that shape you most rarely make it to the feed. Your growth, your heartbreaks, your private victories, your 3 a.m. realizations. They live in memory, not media, and that's where they belong. So if you're someone who doesn't post, you're not hiding. You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You've just remembered something the rest of us forgot. That being unseen doesn't mean being alone. That being quiet doesn't mean being empty. That your worth was never measured in likes. Studies show that people who step back from posting experience higher emotional stability, more life satisfaction, a stronger sense of identity. Because when your sense of self is no longer being constantly mirrored back to you, it becomes solid. It becomes real. You're no longer editing your life into something digestible. You're living it in all its messy, beautiful, unfiltered complexity. And maybe that's what real confidence looks like. Not the loud declaration of self online, but the calm assurance of self offline. The longer someone stays off social media, the more they begin to see the world differently. Colors look richer. Time feels slower. Conversations feel fuller. It's as if stepping away from the noise makes everything real again. Because when you stop performing, you start experiencing. There's a quiet beauty in walking through life without needing proof of every step. You're not thinking about angles or lighting or captions. You're just there, fully alive, inside the moment instead of outside it. So the next time you notice someone who never posts, don't assume they're hiding. Maybe they're just living. Maybe they found peace in the quiet corners of existence, the ones not lit by the blue glow of a screen. Because in the end, we're not meant to be performances. We're meant to be people. And the people who don't post, they remind us of that. Every quiet, unfiltered, beautifully invisible day. So tell me, are you someone who doesn't post? Or did this video just make you want to stop? Be honest in the comments. I read every single one. If this changed how you see silence, hit subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't just scroll through lives, we decode minds. And the next video, it's going to make you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. Click it. You'll understand why,